Hey everybody, hope you guys are having a great day. So today we're going to talk about something that a lot of people don't talk about. The impact COVID-19 had on the housing market. Obviously, you know, pretty much everybody, this is the first epidemic they ever been through, but it had a big effect on real estate. It had an effect of working from home, just doing a bunch of different things. You know, housing demand, and we're gonna go talk about that stuff today. So if you could do me a favor, before we get started, if you get a chance, do me a favor, just hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification. I greatly appreciate it. I need help with this channel to build up more subscribers, and I need your help. Thank you. So Bill, let's start us off. What happened?
What happened?
Basically, yeah. So what kind of impact did COVID have on the housing market?
Well, it had an impact that no one ever would have kind of guessed, I would imagine, that a global pandemic with an entire world shut down and on lockdown would have created a housing market boom. And there's a ton of factors. Not going to get into the politics of it.
No, forget about the politics.
Nope.
It's not a political channel at all.
Not gonna, you know, there's so many speculations, left, right, and indifferent, but I'm just gonna kind of keep this generalized and open. But I do like your comments, so this would be one to comment on, I'm sure. So once restrictions, well, it forced, let's back up, it forced realtors and real estate firms and companies to become more creative, because at the end of the day, people still need a place to live.
Right.
And once some movement was allowed to happen again, there were people who had to wear tie-back suits, 1 or 2 people in the house at a time, gloves, sanitation, masks, you name it. Everybody understands this, I think, across the world. But it created, for lack of a better word, it created a social shift to where remote work, companies again still have to work. You know, the mail has to go through, banking still has to be done. The world still turned, and it forced people to be creative on how to work. And it forced us, in my opinion, 10 years ahead of time, maybe, just throwing a number out there, on how we do that with remote work now.
Right, so people had to buy bigger houses.
People had to, yeah, there was a new need at this point. And people were sheltering in place, but they still had to work. They had the opportunity to work. So as we started to ease restrictions, as people started to move around the country again, well, remote work was a thing, and people were allowed to work in Florida. People were allowed to work in Texas. People were allowed to work wherever they wanted because everybody was remote.
Right. So basically, that's why one of the things is everybody's like, hey, I gotta sell my house, I need a home office. That's why office supply stores and online blew up like crazy.
Right.
Because everybody was working from the house. So what did it do when people wanted bigger houses? Increase the cost.
Yep. So all of that aside, working from home, remote work caused an effect. Then the interest rates came down. We saw,
yeah, they went down to practically nothing.
Nothing.
You know,
So,
free money.
Right. So what did that do? Well, we already had an inventory problem if you really, really look at it. There's more people than there are homes. So, and everybody keeps getting older.
Yep.
That never stops. But we had a slowdown in construction of the new homes. So just in general. But when those interest rates came down, that opened the door to a lot of opportunity for people who would otherwise not be able to afford a home because of the standard, you know, roughly 5.5% interest rate, 6.5% interest rate that we had for the previous decade.
Right.
Now, people who have a 6.5% interest rate or 5.5%, like, well, I'm gonna sell my house. And I'm gonna move into a bigger house, or I'm gonna relocate because I can live wherever I want now. So supply and demand.
And that's
demand went through the roof.
Because of COVID.
Because
Hey,
of
let me
COVID.
ask you a quick question. Are the prices, I mean, the demand, or what do you call it, inventory, supply, are they back to pre-pandemic levels?
We're getting there. We're really close. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. And it depends on the market. So, for instance, the Southwest has done very well lately. Our prices are still kind of have leveled off and have started to increase in certain markets. You know, the West Coast of the country is not doing so well. There's been more of an exodus there, so there's a lot of moving parts with that one.
No one place is the same as the other place.
It's not.
But at the end of the day, COVID's impact was everybody was stuck at home, so they wanted bigger houses, they wanted home offices, you know, and now things are changing. Companies are saying, hey, you need to come back to the office or you're fired.
Yep. So yeah, there's been some interesting rule changes lately with that.
Yeah.
There's also been some interesting rule changes, you know, with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, as far as remote work and getting approvals. There was a time where you were not allowed to work in a certain state remotely. So that's been a hurdle for some of the remote work clients that I have that are just relocating because they're getting ready to retire, whatever. You know, that's a video for another day, but a very, very, very important one to think about when you are working remote, making sure you have your permission to work remote.
Right.
Because the banks are asking.
So basically, supply and demand, that's what it came down to. COVID restricted everybody being home.
Yep.
Everybody left the office. That's why commercial real estate, you know, not to switch the subject, but commercial real estate took a nosedive because everybody started working from home.
Yep. Yeah, and it's still in trouble to an extent, but I don't do commercial real estate, but you know, it's not, there's still a lot of remote work out there. So there's a lot of open office space.
But here's the thing. Now, you know, 2023, we're starting to normalize, but
Yep.
you know, I consider 2020, 21, 22 during the COVID times and the lockdown times a anomaly. Like, it's not going to be like that again.
No.
Unless we have another pandemic. And I think if we have another pandemic, maybe there won't be as many lockdowns. Who knows?
Who knows?
You know, so I have no idea on that one. But that's what it came down to. COVID and free money and low interest rates drove supply and demand.
Correct. Correct. So to touch on what you said about it being an anomaly year or an anomaly time,
Yep.
over those couple of years, you hit the nail on the head. Prior to COVID, we had never ever had interest rates that low, ever, not even close.
Right.
We showed, according to Showing Time, we showed more homes than we'd ever done in real estate in recorded history. In
Really?
that year, up in the 6.2 million plus range. Now we're back down to the projected for this year, lower into the fours. So 4 million. So those things, when people say, I'm waiting for these, I'm waiting for my 2% interest rates to come back.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It's just, I don't see how that is actually a possibility. I don't see how that's a possibility.
Global recession, maybe?
But even still, well, that could open up another can of worms of chatting.
Yeah.
If we go into a recession, a lot of times,
If we're not already in a recession.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go back into the politics and the definitions and...
Yeah,
you know,
well, we'll ignore all that. Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
Like, if we go into a recession, if you look at the last recessionary periods, if you take people out of the unfortunate people who do lose their jobs, which is horrible and atrocious,
Right.
the real estate market goes up.
Okay.
So we don't want that. We want to keep everything just balanced and normal and just like it has always been. It's got these little tiny ripples up and down every day. That's what we want. We want it back to normal. That's our goal.
Yeah, that's a good goal. That's a good goal. So that's it. To wrap it all up, COVID, supply and demand, low interest rates, and plenty of money, plenty of free money.
Yep.
But anyways, that's today's video. Again, I greatly appreciate remember, do me a favor, subscribe, greatly appreciate it. And we'll catch you on the next one. Hit the bell notification so you're notified.
All right, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.